A very good evening to all of you. On behalf of Committee for Members and Practice of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, I welcome you all in today's VCM on investment banking, a new area for young chartered accountants, as well as one eminent speaker is also with us for mentoring the young women CAs that is aspire to dream big. So, in order to tackle these two topics, we are having with us two eminent faculty, CA Varun Garg and CA Nidhi Agarwal ji. Both these speakers, thank you so much for sparing your valuable time. On behalf of CMP of ICI, I extend warm welcome to both of you. Welcome you, sir. Welcome you, madam. We are having with us CA Navneet Sharma ji, Honorable Vice Chairman of Himachal Pradesh Branch. I extend my heartiest thanks to Himachal Pradesh Branch for hosting this mega VCM. Thank you so much for hosting this event, CA Navneet Sharma ji. Honorable Chairman sir is not available with us due to some personal problem, some death in his close family. So our Honorable Vice Chairman of Himachal Pradesh Branch is with us for this VCM. So in order to start this VCM, may I request Honorable Vice Chairman CA Navneet Sharma ji for his welcome address and opening remarks for this VCM. Over to Navneet Sharma sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. First of all, I welcome all of you, especially all the members from all over India. Respected members, I am honored and privileged to welcome all of you on today's webinar organized by CMP committee and hosted by HP branch of NIRC of ICI on investment banking, new era for chartered accountants. And another topic for today is aspire to dream big, mentoring for young women chartered accountants. I would like to express my gratitude to respected members for being with us today on this webinar. I am sure that our eminent speakers, CA Varun Garg and CA Nidhi Agarwal ji will enlighten us on these topics. With these words, I once again welcome all the distinguished guests and members. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for your opening remarks. In the absence of CA Jitendra Sharma ji, Honorable Chairman of Himachal Pradesh Branch, so I request Navneet Sharma sir, the Honorable Vice Chairman sir, to please introduce our first eminent speaker Varun Garg and our another speaker CA Nidhi Agarwal ji.
First of all, welcome CA Varun Garg, our eminent speaker for today's first session. Varun Garg is a co-founder and managing partner at NVC Analytics, where he manages investment banking and research business for global clients. He carries extensive professional expertise in the field of financial advisory, including tax and regulatory advisory, transaction advisory, financial modeling, valuations, accountancy, audit, and assurance. He is a bachelor in commerce from Delhi University and qualified chartered accountant from ICI, New Delhi. He is also a chartered wealth manager, awarded by AAFM USA and a national certified in financial markets from NSC Mumbai. Prior to being associated with NVC Analytics, Varun worked with renowned investment banking and consulting firms in New Delhi. I welcome Varun ji and request him to take his first technical session. And
so, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Navneet sir. So for my topic is like investment banking and new area for the chartered accountants. You know, as everybody once we hear the name of a chartered accountant, everyone comes out a word like taxation, auditing. No one can go in a different field but there might be some other opportunities as well, like where a chartered accountant can go, like a corporate finance, private equity, hedge funds, investment banking side. So my agenda to today's meeting is how a chartered accountant, a fresh chartered accountant, can into the investment banking field. So before the process, how we can enter into a investment banking field, let me first start with what exactly a investment bank would be, or what is the investment banking. So I would like to share the PPT. I prepared a presentation for the same. So let me start my share screen for that part. Okay, so here, so here the what is our agenda is today's meetings. Like first comes with once we hear the name investment bank, so let's first understand the meaning of a bank. What exactly a bank would mean look like. So in the older terms, like, in a reading books while, in the school standard and all, and we heard the name like a bank who as an institution will help in, like, lending money or exchange of money. So this is the working of the a bank on a, as a older times. But in the new area, we defined the banks in a, or classified the bank on the basis of function, on the basis of specialization of functions. Like first one, classification of banks, you can say a investment bank, and the second is a commercial bank. If we understand what is the difference between an investment bank and the commercial bank would be, investment bank is someone who act as a mediator between any between the client and the banking main bank side. So for example, the main function of investment bank would be helping in merger and acquisitions, capital raising transactions. So, and the commercial bank act as a, like, exchange of monies, lending of monies. So as an investment bank, if you classify, we classify it into the four parts, like bulge bracket investment banks, allied investment banks, middle market investment banks, and the regional boutique investment banks. And the second, we have the commercial banks. The commercial bank we classified in two types. One is a scheduled bank and the non-scheduled bank. If you can say, a scheduled bank is a debt bank which is regulated by RBI, and the non-scheduled bank will be regulated by the is not regulated by the RBI. They has their own functionalities. If you could further, if you could classify the scheduled bank, like we classified into three types. One is public sector banks, private sector banks, and the regional rural banks. So if you can say, what is the public sector banks? We heard daily on a daily side, like SBI, PNB, which has a proportion of the government staking. So these banks are called the public sector banks. And the private sector banks called, like some of the banks like HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank. These are the private sector banks. And the third one is a regional rural banks. These are those banks who like cater like our rural populations, mainly dealing in agriculture related activities. And the second we comes, and the main topic we have investment bank. So what is exactly an investment bank? An investment bank is a mediator who helping in various transactions like merger and acquisition, capital raising, divestitures, stress making, helping in equity capital market, debt capital markets. So these are the main function of an investment banks. So we define the investment bank into the four parts, or classify the investment bank into four parts. One is bulge bracket investment bank. The second is allied investment banks. Third one is middle market investment bank, and the fourth one is a regional boutique investment bank. If you could say, what is a bulge bracket investment bank? So these are those banks who are proficient in all the areas what the exactly an investment bank do. For example, like M&A process, capital raising process, trading, wealth management, and all the other areas. These are the billion-dollar companies who are dealing in billion-dollar transactions, like some of the renowned names called JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. So these are the main companies which comes under the bulge bracket investment banks. And they guys have their own presence in all over the world. Like they have a global presence with a high level of specialization in all the parts. They guys are not specialized in one footprints. Like they guys are specialized in whether in a merger acquisition, capital raising, private equity, hedge funds, corporate bonds. So all these, they have their own division, separate division. That's why they comes under a bulge bracket investment banks. The second investment banks comes under allied investment banks. They also big investment bank, but they're not big like a bulge bracket. They have their own specialization. For example, if someone a bank called OE3 Capital Investment Bank, which has their own limitations, like they have their own specialization, whether they are specialized in a capital market, debt market, or equity markets, or someone in a merger and acquisitions, capital raising. So they have their own specialization with a particular field. They also have their global presence, but to the limited extent. The third one is a middle market investment banks. Middle market investment banks are those banks who are dealing in a middle market transactions. They are not big like bulge bracket alike. For example, like big four firm, like they have their transaction advisory departments. Like, every big four has a transaction advisory department. So we count big four under the middle market investment banks. And the fourth one is a regional boutique investment banks. They are not a, like a firms or institutions. They might be a single consultant who act as a mediator, who help in raising transaction, helping in capital raising, and whether in a leverage buyout transactions, management buyout transactions, or maybe in a merger and acquisitions. So these are the classifications. What does the investment bank look like? And hope everyone knows about the commercial bank, as we discussed, like, some of SBI, functions of SBI, PNB, HDFC. So these are the, the commercial banks. And now the next one is like in a detailed, like what exactly a investment bank do. So they guys have their four divisions, mainly of four divisions. One is a IBD divisions. You can say investment bank divisions. In the IBD division, we categorize the same into two parts. One is merger and acquisitions, and the second is a capital markets. And then we have a second called wealth management. Third one is a research department, and fourth one is a trading and brokerage. In the IBD division, merger and acquisitions and capital raising transactions. So how a merger and acquisition, how an investment banker help in any M&A transactions. So they guys helping in to merge one company to another company. So for that part, they are doing a couple of things, like they're doing due diligence, they do financial modeling, valuations, and all the stuffs on the basis of their own knowledge and skills. They're helping out with the merger deals. Similarly, we have a capital market transactions, like for equity capital markets and debt capital market. If any institutions looking for money, they guys helping in the, via the raising the transaction with the equity, or raising a transaction with the debt part. It's like IPOs, fund offers, and all the parts. And the debt, for the debt, they helping in raising leverage, financing, restructuring, and so on. Similarly, the second division of investment bank is a wealth management. What exactly a wealth manager do? They guys help in managing the wealth of their clients, like in estate planning, tax planning, how they can maximize their wealth. So this is the they guys are mainly dealing with. The third one is a research department. So what the research guys do, they I hope you guys heard about the equity research, debt research, and all the things. So here in the research, they write their own reports. On the basis of reports, like someone, a trader or a broker, can make a decisions whether we should buy any stock, or whether we should make it on a hold, sell, or buy. So they write their own research reports. And the fourth one is a trading and brokerage. For the trading and brokerage, we categorize into two parts. One is a proprietary funds, and the second one is a trading for clients. Proprietary funds means an investment bank can trade the money for their own funds. They're not like using the client fund. They're using their own funds to trade something, whether in a stock, a commodity, or in any other thing. And for the trading for clients like hedge fund, pension funds, and etc., they use the client funds and helping them in for making the profit for the clients. On that basis, they charge their own commission. And similarly, as I mentioned to you, if I can make it into the step by step, like for the investment banking division, like as I mentioned to you guys, like, we categorize into two parts: merger and acquisition, capital markets. Merger acquisitions, always we have a two side, whether we represent as a buy side, or second one, either we represent as a seller side. So either client hire as a buyer side or maybe a sell side, so we can act as a both. And the second one is a capital market. As I mentioned, equity capital market and a debt capital market. Equity capital market, someone looking for raising the capital via equity model, and there's someone who's looking for their capital via the debt model, like float bonds, corporate bonds, raise any kind of debt market. And the one division is called the debt restructuring, where we as act as an investment banker, helping the company in reducing the financial stress in order to restore the liquidity or reduce the debt portion. So for that part, we act as a mediator. And the second one is the trading and brokerage, like proprietary funds and trading for clients. And the third one is the wealth management. As I mentioned to you guys, proprietary fund, they guys using their own funds for trading for client. They guys using like their client funds and generate the profits. Wealth management, they helping their in estate planning, retirement planning, tax planning, and client investments. How we can maximize the wealth of any client. So this is the main role. And the third one is research. As I mentioned to you, like someone, they write their own reports. On the basis of that report, any client, make the decision whether they should sell any stock, commodity, or buy the commodity or sell the commodity on that basis. So here we categorize the same into four parts. One is the equity, second is a credit, you can say a debt portion, a currency, and a commodity market. So equity, they analyze the macro sector economic things to identify the opportunities in the stock market. Like, they're helping in, buy side, they act as a buy side here as well and a sell side here as well. So they're helping with a lot of client, with a lot of listed companies and unlisted companies in making the decisions. The second one is a debt side. So similarly, they provide their own make investment decision for corporate debts and the credit derivatives of issuers in various sectors, maybe in a TMT sector, infrastructure sector, healthcare side. So they have their own specialization. So anyone who want to go in a research side, they can make their own specialization in a particular sector. The third one is the currency side. So always we have a lot of currencies in the world, like USD, INR, GBP. So on that basis, how they can trade via the currency. So they helping in the like how they can analyze the things, so that like the economic markets, economic position of any country, so they can analyze the country's currencies. So on that basis, they can trade. And the commodity, maybe research on some metals, oils, natural gas, and agriculture side. So as a types of investment bank, as we discussed, full service investment bank, you can say bulge bracket investment banks. I gave you an example, like some of the $1 billion investment banks like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Credit Suisse, Barclays. So they guys are the full bulge bracket investment banks. Second is a allied boutique investment banks. So they have their own, they're working in some of the range of services, but they have their own specialization, and they are not big like full service investment banks. Middle market, same, they guys are dealing in a middle market transactions. And the regional boutiques, so they guys have their very smaller in size. It might be a single person can act as an investment bank. This becomes give this type of investment bank in a regional boutique investment bank. They target in a specific region. And now, what is actually the role of investment bank? So we categorize the role of investment bank in three parts. One is a front office, second is a middle office, and third one is a back office. So front office investment banker, but front office investment banker very high in demand. They are those persons who are actually dealing in the transactions. who are sitting with the front desk and helping in closing the deals. Actually, front desk investment bankers. So they are helping in a revenue generating role. So these are the main persons. So they guys have paying very much salary, very high rate of salary as compared to the middle office investment banker and the back office investment bankers. It might be trader, brokers, researchers, merger acquisition advisor. So they are dealing with the direct to the client and closing the deals. The second is a middle office investment bank. Middle office. So they are the person who are dealing with like analyzing the risk management, compliance related issues, due diligence part, like doing financial modeling, preparing confidential information memorandums, company profiling, like some of the pitch book presentations, doing the valuations with either on a DCF approaches, relative valuations like trading comparable, transaction comparable. So these kind of the approaches they guys use and like comes under the due diligence stuff. And the third one is a back office investment bank. So they guys are those person who are into the support and the administrative to the front and the middle office investment banks, like some HR person, IT department, accounting stuff. So they guys are this person. So, but everyone like wants to comes under a front office investment banks who actually help in generating the leads or generating the revenues for any of a company. So this is the main thing what exactly every investment banker wants to come into. So they might become first with a middle office. They learn about the financial modeling skills, valuation skills, or some presentation skills like preparing pitch books, a company profile and all the stuff. But after that, everyone is dreaming to become a front-end investment banker. So now comes the investment banking salary. So let me first talk you about guys, like, the hierarchy of investment bank. So first, as a junior person, so they guys hired any of a junior or like a graduate, postgraduate or a chartered accountant as an intern. Then once they feel like we qualified the intern like for 6 months, then they hired us as a analyst level position, then a senior analyst level position, then an associate level position, and then a senior associate level position, then comes VP, then senior VP, and then president. So this is the hierarchy on in investment banks particularly. So as a fresher, if someone like comes as a fresh graduate or fresh chartered accountant or a fresh CFA guys come into the investment banking field, so they guys hire us as a as an analyst level. So what is the salary range? The salary range might be different from the the category of investment bank. Like full service investment banks have their big, because they are dealing in $1 billion companies, so they are paying high little compared to the allied, middle market and the regional boutique investment bank. So here the fixed portion might be lower, but the bonus part, it may be varies between 100% to 150% as well. So as a common practice, they guys gave us like 50 to 80% of the bonus for any with their fixed portion. So here the fixed portion might be a 15 lakhs, 18 lakhs, 20 lakhs, or might be as a fresher we may get 8 to 10 lakhs, but the bonus portion here may be a very high range. This is the salary for the only an analyst level person. For a senior analyst level person or a associate or senior associate, it may be like 25 to 35 to 40. So here the people who has experience of like 3 to 4 years, they can earn 50 to 60 lakhs per annum as well. So with the passage of experience, they may achieve a level of crores. So this is the beauty of the investment banking field. Here the paying capacity is very, very high as compared to the other consulting field. Like we compare in a taxation, in a auditing stuff. Here the paying capacity is very high as compared to other for the chartered accountant fields. Then how we can become an investment banker? So once everybody knows, like if any graduate, postgraduate or CFA can enter into the same. And then it's not like we study the chartered accountant and we study a lot of subjects and then we can immediately enter in the investment bank. It's not something like, it's a very hard field. We need to crack interviews. Interview is not a easy job here, because the process of selection criteria is very high. So we need to develop their own necessary skills like communication skills and all. So this matter a lot for this kind of the stuff. And then the cracking of interviews, like someone like here, the percentage of cracking the interview is very less. So if someone say 100 people apply for any investment banking position, you can expect only 2 or 3% people can the crack the interview. So there will be a round of around 7 to 8 rounds to crack as an investment banking position rounds. So this is the main thing. So the purpose of the seminar is here. My purpose is like, why don't we restrict to our areas in the field of taxation and auditing? So why don't we go with any something and out of the scope field, like as a private equity, investment banking, they guys are paying very much higher as compared to the some of the other fields. So if you could compare an MBA or a chartered accountant, so every MBA is like IIM's graduates, if you could compare, everyone would like to go in a investment banking side, rather no one want to go in a taxation and auditing. So this is the something. So I would like to prefer if someone go in out of the scope, out of the box thinking, so an investment banker might be a good choice for the future perspective as well. In the current scenarios, we know there is some restrictions like GST audits from the the government sides and all. I believe the scope of the chartered accountancy in the field of auditing and taxation stuff might be reduced on a passage of years. But here, as an investment bank, we can target the market for a global side. For Indian, a chartered accountant can restrict with the Indian clients only. We have their own regulations of laws, taxations, accounting standards and all. But finance is something which is globally acceptable. So we can target not even the Indian clients, we can target the global clients, whether we may enter into the US market, UK market, Australia market, Middle East market. So everyone accepting, even if you are not qualified enough, like if you are a chartered accountancy degree, Indian side only, then in USA and in the Europe, in the UK and the Middle East side, you can target. So this is all about. So as also guys knows about, in the coming years, we might face a challenge, somewhere artificial intelligence is developing, for any automation stuff is developing in every field of finance function. So you can say in auditing and taxation. So I believe for a general practice area, those chartered accountants who are in practice, the scope of work might be reduced in the coming years. So we have to explore the new things so that we can maintain the dignity of as a chartered accountant. We can explore the new things. So for that part, I think right now from my side, this is all about what the investment banking and how we can, start with as a investment banking as a career. So over to you. So Navneet sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think I completed my presentation on the investment banking side. So if anyone has questions, I can take care of that.
Okay. Let me check. Just wait. Yeah, we have a question that explain the soul of a chartered accountant as financial advisor and tax planning tips and how to specialize in this area.
Sorry, pardon, sir.
The role of a chartered accountant as a financial advisor and tax planning tips and how to specialize in these areas.
So I believe I'm not a tax guy, so I am not a right person to explain the tax implications, but how we can specialize in investment banking, I believe, if we can get a right skills in the area of financial modeling, valuations and the corporate finance field, we can definitely specialize into that part. So we have a strong accounting background with a strong, the economic and the, like the technical knowledge. So with these kind of the skills, we can explore and specialize into more deeper with any kind of the segment we can specialize into, whether we go with a merger acquisition, capital raisings, private equity, hedge fund. So I believe so the main skills would require communication skills, accounting skills, some of the major technical skills as well, like including the IT as well. So automation also plays a vital role in the investment banking side.
With this changing technical things, and there's artificial intelligence is taking up all this. So how you suggest how our members can be helpful for this all wealth management?
So that's why, we have to explore some new things, rather than fixing on some tax planning and estate plannings. We can go beyond, which is where we think, we more as a consultant rather than, stuck on automation stuff. For example, if anyone, a chartered accountant who was filing the income tax returns in the coming years, that may be automated. So a BCom guy or anyone who, maybe a businessman can file their own right there with their own. The guys don't need the chartered accountant once the process is automated. But for any new skills where like investment banking or private equity, the only the person who has specialized knowledge in that area, they can get advisory part. So we need to more focus on advisory stuffs rather than stuck in the manual operations, because it get automated in coming phases. So this is the main concern we chartered accountants are facing right now. So my opinion to all of the chartered accountants, or like especially the practicing chartered accountant coming out to the advisory section or a consultant, act as a consultant rather than making like automation, making things on a manually stuff like accounting and return filing, GST filing or auditing part. So I believe it may be automated for a passage of time. Maybe lastly 3 or 4 years we can see the changing of difference. But we can I can say the metro city people don't face. I don't think they guys may face difficulties. But for people who are practicing in smaller cities, like in like very small cities, so they guys might be facing because no one cares about like for the advisory side. Only they side yaar kaam ho jaye, then the guys charges the fees and accordingly. But I don't, if automation if possible, तो rural में भी या smaller cities में भी हम लोगों को apply करना ही पड़ेगा. So this is the main concern. So I believe for all of the section of chartered accountant, we have to explore some new ideas so that we can enhance the services skills or we can extend our skills level.
Another question is from a member. I am currently working in audit department. Is it possible to shift from audit to investment banking?
Yeah, it is possible. It might take some time. Auditing is something we are doing on a like in articleship, like in other areas, like starting phase, everyone like maybe go in auditing or taxation. But for, as I mentioned, we need to we have a specialized skills, like we have to learn the basic of the investment banking field. Like first we need to understand what is financial modeling, because this is the main things we need to understand. Financial modeling is nothing. It's a preparation of financial 3 financial statements. We need to do the valuation. We learn about a lot of things in our finance subject, like strategic financial management, not in a very detailed, like doing the valuation things like trading comparable valuations, transaction comparable valuation, or the DCA valuation, discounting approach methods. And there are some other valuations as well we need to learn. So because CA curriculum is not sufficient to actually enter the front investment banker, so we need to make the decisions, and step by step we need to learn the things how we can enter into the investment banking. At least first we can target a middle size investment bank or in a middle office investment bank, so that we can learn about the financial due diligence, financial modeling, valuations, presentation skills, like preparing the pitch book presentations, confidential information memorandums, learning about the skills, how one company can, if one company can merge to another company, then what are the synergies they may come out, how we can find out the synergies, how a company might they need like a seed funding, capital raising. So these kind of the things plays a vital role. We have to learn. So step by step, if we can learn, definitely we can shift from any kind of field to one field to another field. But it might take some time.
It's absolutely right. We have to shift from compliance to consultancy now.
Yeah.
Another question is from how will investment banking help chartered accountants, and how articleship training will help in this?
So articleship is something, there are a lot of companies, if we heard about a Big Four. So Big Four has their own investment banking divisions. Like, why don't we try to crack the articleship part, not with the auditing and the taxation stuff. They have their transaction advisory department. So we can go and we can prepare for the interviews for the articleship in a M&A department, private equity department of the Big Four. With these experiences, we can immediately, after becoming a chartered accountant, we can immediately get a good job from the outside market as well. So also, I would like to request from the ICI as well. So we see like in a campus as well. Like we hear like companies are, the recruiting like for the taxation and auditing and accounting field, but we are not inviting any of the investment bankers, management consulting companies, like McKinsey and Company, BCG, UBS. So these are Nomura. So these are the management consulting companies. Also, like some of the big bulge bracket investment bank like JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Credit Suisse. So it's our opportunity. It's our responsibility as ICI. I request if they guys if we also invite for the participation in our campus placement, so that everyone knows this is also a field where we can enter into. So this is the request to the ICI, if they guys invite to some other companies as well, not restrict with only for auditing and accounting side.
Definitely, I think you have cleared the questions of all the members. I'm absolutely agreeing with you that with this changing environment, we have to definitely sharpen our skills, and this with our analytical mind, we have to go with this new opportunities with what we are getting it. Definitely, right. ICI is definitely going to think and going it this way. And I think no more questions are coming to me on this.
No more questions are there.
No more questions, sir?
No more questions are there. Thank you so much, Varunji, for sparing your valuable time and wonderful deliberation. We have gained a lot through your deliberation, and hope our members have also gained a lot through your deliberation. On behalf of Himachal Pradesh branch as well as CMP of ICI, I extend my heartiest thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. We have another eminent speaker, CA Nidhi Agarwal ji. Over to you, Vice Chairman, sir. Kindly introduce CA Nidhi Agarwal ji and start the proceedings for us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now I take this opportunity to welcome Nidhi Agarwal ji. Nidhi Agarwal ji is a rank holder chartered accountant with 2 decades of professional experience, working in diverse roles across multinational companies. She is also IFRS certified and ICI and Green Belt 6 Sigma certified. Nidhi is also author of the book Women CFO Stories. It is the first and the only book covering real life inspiring stories of global women CFO leaders. Nidhi ji, welcome you, and please take this technical session. Please welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. I'll just share the slides. Just give me a second. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's clear.
Yeah. I'm just making it full screen. Okay. First of all, thanks everyone for making for this session. And you may be wondering that why is a session required only for young women CAs to aspire to dream big? There is a reason behind it. As per the year 2018 McKinsey report, males and females in finance globally, they start their career on equal footing. And this is globally, not just in India. Everywhere we'll see that males and female enter in the same way. If we would see the number of CAs, even in the female who would qualify from ICAI, that's a big number. But eventually, over the career span, only 19% of the higher positions in the corporate world are occupied by females. There's another report by Catalyst, which is a recent study where they have shown that only 13% women make it to a leadership roles like CFO or something. So the question is that what's stopping the females and why are they dropping out? And one of the main reasons is that they don't see also a lot of role models around them, or role models who can inspire them. Maybe early part of their career, somebody could mentor them that yes, they can make it and how they can make it to those levels. So this session is all about, I want to maybe mentor you, answer your questions, so that you aspire to become a big leader tomorrow, being a qualified CA. And nothing would stop you if you have that will, is what I would say. And I'll start with a quote from Walt Disney, where it's mentioned that all our dreams can definitely come true if we have the courage to pursue them. And that's what is required actually if we have to do something in our life. So to keep this session really interactive, I would first want to understand some of the things which you have on your mind. And there are a few questions which I'm going to ask you. For that, it will be great if you can scan the above barcode from your smartphone, or you can log into menti.com and enter the code 8721675. Please, can you do that? Because let's give you another 2-3 minutes and you should start logging into this. And there'll be a first question you'll see where the dreams start with a goal. So I want to know what's your professional goal, and that's how we'll take this conversation ahead. So please scan this code from your smartphone, or maybe through the internet, you can log into www.menti.com and enter the code. If you can do that, that will be helpful. And let me meanwhile just check how many folks have logged in to this presentation. So are you guys able to log in to this mentimeter.com? Any challenges you are facing in this?
Can you please share the password, please?
Yeah, I'll just share. So you can either just scan this from the app like a Paytm or any of the barcode scanning thing you have in your smartphone. You can either just scan this code, or you can log into www.menti.com and enter the code 8721677. The first question you would see is this one, which will appear. Ahead. What's your ultimate professional goal? So, okay, I have started getting the responses. So the responses, let me just share my screen. So we are getting the responses. I want to have a successful CA practice. That's a very good goal. I want to reach a top leadership position in my organization. I want to run an own business. I want to have a consulting firm in a wealth management. I want to earn abundant money, doing what I love, live a peaceful life, travel across the world. Very good. I want to become a world-class leader so that I can aspire others to give a quality professional service to the society. Good. To be financially independent and inspire other females to pursue their dreams. To excel in own profession, learn, teaching profession, to earn respect, seek rewarding role in accounts, finance, to serve quality profession, to be a successful professional, to grow my profession along with financial goals. I am a sole practitioner willing to enlarge my practice into sunrise areas, to reach leadership positions in my LOB, job satisfaction, becoming a CFO. I want to start my practice. Very good. And it's great to see how ambitious people we have today on this call. And I hope the universe is hearing all of this and you achieve your goals. To reach a highly reputed post, earn a high salary, to reach at a level in a significant corporate where my decisions and action can make a specific change in my life and society, have my own mid-sized CA firm, to become a famous and a successful CA and become always a better person. Great. Wow, that's like, it's great that each one of you are highly ambitious. You have your dreams and you want to do great in your life. It's really great. I'm highly privileged that today I'm being given an opportunity to be a part of this group. I want to have completely independent and have a good leadership position in my great. So this is the first question we have. So the first thing for a dream to come true is having a goal, and then you have to start working towards that goal. So my second question to all of you is, which you would see in the Mentimeter, is that the second question is, so what are you doing to achieve this goal? What are your plans? Have you thought about it? So what are you planning for that? And what are the challenges you see in terms of achieving that goal? That's my second question to all of you. Are you able to view that second question on Mentimeter? What's your plan to achieve your goals, and what's the biggest challenge you perceive achieving those goals? So you can answer these in two separate, by multiple submissions or with one single submission, whatever you feel comfortable with. Not sure. Okay, that's also fine. And it's perfectly fine. When I was also maybe very young CA in the first 2 years, once I qualified, even I wasn't clear that what I want to, that I had a goal, but what I'm planning to achieve it, I didn't had a clue about it. So that's perfectly fine. What are others thinking about it? How are you planning to achieve the goals you have? Started 5 a.m. club. Biggest challenge is my own thought process. Very good. This is a really great thing which you have written. The biggest challenge is a person's own mindset that's holding you back. And if you could overcome that, you can overcome a lot of things. Setting up proper resources. Yeah, especially if you have to set up your CA firm, setting up proper resources would be a challenge in that goal. smart work and networking challenge, guidance as support at the right time. Yeah, if you don't have a mentor and a guide who can guide you, at times you can feel stuck, you don't know who would help me. Plan to rise up in the corporate ladder is reskilling. Very well said, whosoever has written this, that yes, you have to constantly upgrade yourself. And that's very similar to the iPhone or on Android phones we have. If you see, you have to constantly upgrade to the latest Android thing or the iPhone version. In the same way, if you have to really be successful in this changing world, you have to constantly reskill and upskill yourself. Work hard to achieve my goal. Very good, my friend. This is a great thing. You have to work hard. There is no substitute for hard work. And the challenge you see is getting lesser time from present occupancies. And that is something on this challenge, I can say, if you do a proper planning, plan your day, a week, month in a proper way, you can take out time for your priorities, for your goals, because only busy people find the time. Remember, right support from my seniors. Yeah, that's possible. If you're doing really good work, you're articulating well, you will definitely get the right support from your seniors, and that would not be a challenge. Work hard, gain experience in the relevant areas, and explore new and innovative ways to improve the processes. Very good. This is again reskilling, upskilling. The biggest challenge I perceive is the absence of mentors at a nation. Very well said. And this is where I said that's why, especially for the females, why do not many females are able to make it to a top level is because they don't have those role models who manage work and family life really well, who can manage all of that well. And if they have those role models, if they read about it, if they are able to interact with it, they can definitely have that courage with that role model and the mentors to move ahead. I've already started working with a CA who is going to give me his practice, but the biggest challenge is managing a family and a home. Yes, the biggest challenges which females face is managing family at home, but you can do it very well, whosoever has written it, if you are able to create a proper support system. Don't think that you are a superwoman, please. Nobody can do everything themselves. No one in the world is perfect. Nobody can do everything himself or herself. Akela koi kuch nahi kar sakta. You need to have a support system. There is no harm in creating that support system. You may have to maybe hire certain people, and even within the family, taking support help from your family members. That really helps you to manage the family side. And even at a workplace, creating that right team, trusting them, upskilling them so that they are also acting as your support system. And believe me, in the life, there will be situations, especially, see, it's like a pendulum. You will have certain situations in the life where you may have to devote more time at home. But if you have that right support system in your office, they will help you manage that situation. Similarly, there will be at times situations in the life when maybe you have a client filing and things where you have to spend more time in the office. But if you have a right support system at home, then your family, your husband, your mother, your mother-in-law, all of them will help you, because they know that that's a deliverable she has to deliver, and we need to help her right now. So that balance has to be maintained, and in the equilibrium, ऐसा नहीं होगा कि रोज आपका fixed होगा, कभी कहीं होगा, कभी कहीं होगा. But building a right support system in both sides would really help you. I am clueless about the plan, and that is why I am attending this meeting. The challenge is the unknown path. So if you are attending this meeting, that you want to know your plan, see, you have, if you know your ultimate goal, I don't know the names here because nobody is writing the name, otherwise I could have addressed you by name. If you know your goal, for example, you want to become a CFO, or you want to become, say, leading CA practice things. So that's a goal for next 30 years, 35 years. But उस 30-35 years के लिए, you have to create a smaller bit size goal. See, you can't suddenly make a jump from here to there, but you have to create your smaller plans that will lead it to that bigger goal. So if you have a main goal for next 35 years, break it down into small goals. That this is what I have to do in first year. This is what I have to do in second year. This is what, chart a plan for you, a plan and a plan B, a plan C also. And how would you create that plan is that if you have to become, say, a CFO, there are certain skills you need. There are certain experiences you need. Write it down in terms of the technical experiences you would need. Then write it down on a page. What are the soft skills you would need to meet that? Then write it down. Who are your role models whom you see who are doing it? And then see, from day one, you can't become a CFO. Then plan it that in this first year, maybe I need to do this thing. In second year, I need to get this skill, and keep ticking that off, upskilling yourself, adding different experiences to your bouquet, so that that plan or a path is chartered. And there will be situations in life that you may not get what maybe you were wanting to do, a particular job or a profile. Then fall back upon the plan B. Don't get stuck by a failure, but take failure as something which will lead to your next path is what you should look at. It is same like if you would have seen if there is this Hot Wheels ki cars jo hoti hain, which we play with our kids. If you have to make sure that it goes on the right speed, you have to slightly pull it back and then it goes forward. Similarly, if you have any failure in the life, in that plan, take it that something was given to you to slightly move back, and then make a leap and bounce back further, more stronger. So this is maybe at a high level I can tell you, and at the end of the session, I'll be sharing my email address. You can write to me. I'm happy to do one-on-one session for you, free of cost, without anything on a weekend, and help you if you need any guidance for me, is what I could say. I am confused between job and starting a practice, but right now I'm 99% inclined to learn a good CA firm, and then slowly explore what I need to do, and then I will start on. That's a good thing. Is you have to decide what is good for you, what you are passionate about. See, because as you would move higher in hierarchies, or whether in your own CA practice or in any job, the number of hours will increase, the stress will increase, the politics will increase. So unless you're really passionate about what you're doing, and you really love doing it, pick that thing out of practice, or I can say out of job. My father has his own practice, but I didn't join his practice because I wasn't enjoying it. And I joined multinational companies with the regular finance jobs, because that's what made me more happy and passionate. So it is up to you what you want to. Be clear in your choices and tell your loved ones, your family members, that this is what I want to do. And believe me, they will support you. They will support you because they want you to be happy. Then learn skills. Biggest challenge is overcoming fear of failure. And the failure thing I have already covered, that take failure as a learning. Failures will happen. There's multiple time in 20 years I have failed. But I learned from that failure that I come out more stronger, and I don't repeat that mistake more, is what I see as a failure. See, nobody is perfect in the world, remember. And those who overcome the fear of failure are the one who reach the heights. Self-study, self-motivation to achieve the dream goal. The biggest challenge is my family and kids. Family and kids, if you plan it, you create your support system, you tell your loved one what you want, this is your goal, you can achieve it. It's a challenge in your mind. Somebody wrote first thing, I think, on here, that it's my own mental capacity which is holding me back. So Females think that their biggest challenge is family and kids. Make this challenge as your strength. They will support you to achieve your dream, believe me, if you do it in a right way. Because the entire world or this universe, Earth, is about give and take. If you give them, they will give you back. Be open about your goals, what you want to do, what makes you happy. That choice you will have to make. What makes you more happy? This, understand that this is what I want to do, this is what will make me happy. Discuss with your family, plan it out, everything can work out. There is no challenge like family and kids, and this is something which females should really get something out of their mind, is what I would say. First, learning from experience, colleague, and other sources. My biggest challenge is serving quality service only few hours I grabbed. Again, I would say, if quality service of few hours, if you concentrate and plan it well, you can even deliver in few hours. You don't have to work 18 hours a day. If you know that I want to work only this many hours and I want to do this, you can achieve it. In fact, the book which I have written, which covers stories of women CFO, there is one CFO of a very, very renowned global company, and she works only 4 days a week from starting of her career once she had kids. And yet she made it to those levels. So again, that's in your mind, that you need to be clear about what you want to achieve. And even if you then dictate the terms, you can do work in that if you're really good at it, if you're really passionate about it. Biggest challenge is to get that confidence to work on large scale, as I've done my articleship from a very small city and I'm not exposed to corporate and that level of networking to get there. Again, this is a challenge in your mind. Remember, there is nothing like a small city. There is nothing like I'm not exposed to corporate world. You need to have that self-confidence that I can do it. Luckily, you guys are all in a world of a social media, of LinkedIn and other things which you have. You can just go around, make connections on LinkedIn. There are companies who are floating jobs online. Apply for those. You can get it. If you are determined about something, you'll surely get it. The universe will help you. And it's usually in Hindi में कहा जाता है ना कि ढूंढने से तो भगवान भी मिल जाते हैं. So if you want to find a job of what you want to have in your life, you can get it. Be determined on that. You have so many tools these days available, versus maybe somebody who did a CA 30 years back, 20 years back. You guys are in the best time zone, I would say, where you have so much of resources available. To achieve the goal, I will pursue continuous education on the subject. The major challenge is to face real life situation. So don't take it as a challenge, my friend. The real life situations, take them as a learnings. Those learnings in real life will make you more stronger and will help you achieve what you want. And unless you have those real life experiences, believe me, nobody can get it to those levels. Everyone would have gone through the real life situation, successes, failures. It's a mixed bag that will help you achieve your goal. Need the guidance and can work very hard to achieve my goal. Yes, the most challenge for me is my health issues. So on the health issues, I think for that, I don't know what kind of health issues you have. But again, maybe getting the right medical consultancy could help you get it, and you can overcome that with your positivity. But again, the health issues should not stop you. Again, I'm just coming back to my book, and there is one story of a female CFO. She had a cancer. She fought back that cancer and became a CFO of a very big investment equity venture company in the world over. So again, it's again in your mind. If you are determined, I'll fight it back, you'll fight it back. uncertainty. Sometimes as a woman, a lot of personal responsibility get attached. Time management is the biggest challenge. As we are in a different innovative field, let's say startup, time research, and uncertainty becomes a challenge. So I think maybe what you're trying to say is that at times at your workplace, maybe your number of hours get extended. See, now again, it will tie back to whether you liking that work or not. Are you finding passionate enough to do that work or not? Are you good at that? Is that your skill set? Is that your expertise and you would want to continue in that field? If yes, that's where you want to be, then you will have to find ways that you do work more smartly rather than spending 18 hours a day. As I said, there will be certain times that the pendulum may shift more towards the work side, but if it's a daily routine that's happening, then and that's stressing you, then better find a different job, is what I would suggest, because you can't continuously be on a treadmill. You need rest. You need time with the family. You need to maintain that balance and learn to maintain that balance throughout. There are some legal hassles relating to infrastructures which has to basically overcome. So I think this is something very personal to maybe somebody who is going through something, and maybe I hope that gets solved for you soon is what I'll play. Updating my knowledge, challenges, absence of mentors. See, again, on absence of mentors, find your mentors, create your mentors at the workplace, which can happen when you have a regular interaction with them. And believe me, all the leaders would want to spend time with people in their team to groom them and pay it forward to the communities, because they have also grown with the help of coaches and mentors. And like I am doing this session for you guys, I'm doing it because I also want to pay it forward to the community, because when I was a young CA, there were many mentors I had who helped me. Less females, I would say, at that point in time, but there were many male leaders who actually guided me through that. This is how I should navigate my career. Clear vision and consistency. Consistency is my biggest challenge. Now, this is an interesting comment. Consistency, I don't know whether you are saying is a consistency of performance or is consistency of what, but consistency, yes, is required. You can't be doing a great job one day and another submitting an assignment with a lot of errors. To build your personal brand, you have to consistently keep delivering good, and that would strengthen your own personal brand. Absence of support, guidance, mentors, especially when you aspire ventures into non-traditional areas. Yes, in a non-traditional areas, if anybody would venture, you will not have mentors, but then you need to have your determination, your own willpower that yes, I will make it. I did start my own practice, and now I feel I cannot do it. But in work in a firm till I get back to a practice game, do you think it will have a negative impact? See, there is no right or wrong answer to these things. कई बार ऐसे लोग बोलते हैं कि अच्छा मैं अभी जॉब छोड़ दूं once I have kids and then join back after 2 years. Those are the choices you are making. Don't think it as a negative or a positive. For every situation, every challenge, again, I'm saying convert it as an opportunity. You can take breaks in your career. You can do things, try different things, fail, and then bounce back. There is nothing that one incident in the life can make you a negative thing, unless it is something like something very horrible that has happened to you, or matter of a life or a death. Challenge I perceive is starting my own practice is building the clientele. Yes, in an own practice, it's a challenge, but if you are again focused on it, you build the right network, you get into the right things, you know how to do the business, you you will be able to do. Nothing is a rocket science. There are people who started their practice from a very small thing. Like my father, he came from a very small city to Delhi and then started his practice. So initial few years will be a tough one, but if you then would be delivering in a right way, you're giving the right advice to your clients, I always feel you can do that. Ma'am, as you just mentioned, you left practice and to join MNC as you weren't enjoying. I am a similar stage. How to enter MNC after 2 years of practice? So how to upskill oneself to enter the industry, doing CFA courses. So to answer to this is that there is no need for you to do any additional courses, but you have to find the right skill set jobs online and apply for those to enter into the industry. There is no particular course that will help you to enter the industry. In industry, you have to crack the interview. You need to apply. There are so many jobs at these levels, I am telling you, available in the market right now, especially with many startups now in India flourishing. MNCs are there. So there's a lot is what I could say. You guys should have, you will have to make out of this moment for yourself what works for you. So I think this is a really great interactive stuff, and we can move forward on this now on this slide. And in the end, we'll have the question and answers. While few things I did try to answer as I was reading your comments or questions, but at the end of the session again, we'll talk about it. And this is a book, especially for the women. I said, if you want to read about the real life stories of these women CFOs who really made it to the top. It covers stories of 6 Indian females and 5 females from outside India, and how they have managed their work, family, everything. It talks about this book. So if you get a chance, do look at it. It's very nominally priced, 99 rupees Kindle version, 199 paperback version, and all the proceeds of this book are being donated to the NGOs working on women empowerment and education in India. So some tips, especially which I would want to cover before I end this session is, and as I've talked about, is the first one is choose the work about which you are passionate. That is very important. You should love the work you are doing, because unless you love that work, you won't be able to give your best to it. And after few years, you would just hate doing it. It will be a 9-to-5 job for you. You would not want to go to office. You would say, what the hell I'm doing in my life? So try to do things which make you happy and you enjoy doing it. Because as I said, as you would rise up the career, whether in your own practice or in corporate world, the stress factor, the politics, the number of hours, all of those may start increasing. And unless you enjoy your work, you will not be able to perform. So be clear in your mind what makes you happy. And there is this movie 3 Idiots जिसमें ये बोला था ना कि अगर आप कुछ अच्छा करते हो तो सक्सेस अपने आप झक मार के आपके पीछे आ जाती है. तो वो करो जिसमें आपको खुशी मिलती है. Do pick up those things. Do whether be in job, क्योंकि within job भी accounting है, investment banking है, ये do what you find you really enjoy doing it. Second thing is there is no substitute for hard work. Throughout in your career, पहले तो हम CA बनने के लिए बहुत hard work करते हैं, then we get a CA degree. But even when you will be in your career journey of next 40 years, because once you become a CA, there's another 40 years in front of you to work. There is no substitute for hard work. You will have to earn a position and you have to sustain it. Even after earning something, you have to work hard to sustain it. So nobody can take success for granted. You have to prove yourself every day, even like today, I'm 20 years of CA working in a big MNC at a very senior position. But believe me, every day I have to prove myself to sustain what I have achieved. The third one, for what I said for females, it's so important, is don't try to be a superwoman. Build a support system. Support system at your home with your family members. Hire a maid or part-time maid, full-time maid, whatever works for you. Share your dreams with your family. Don't keep those dreams with yourself. Have the courage to tell your parents, to your husband, to your in-laws, that this is what I want to do. This is what will make me happy. And once you tell them, believe me, they will be there to support you. They will be more than there, but you have to be determined about what you want. What are your dreams? Fourth one is, when you get successful, then also stay humble. Because humility is the foundation of being ambitious. So, ऐसा नहीं है, like you become a CFO or you become a very senior leader, then आप घर में अपना वो करो, oh, I am this person, I am that person, or even with your friend circle. Detach your designations of work title from what you are as a human being. Stay a very good human being. Then only you will be able to sustain that success. Don't let that success go into your mind. Don't let your egos be a hurdle for you or a challenge for you, because once you be successful, there are some people who fall down when they have their egos come in play. They don't stay humble. Fifth one is build network at workplace, and I would say beyond workplace also, through social media. Connect with different kind of people. You never know when somebody may help you to get a job somewhere or a client someday. And do a genuine networking. Not that कि अब मुझे client चाहिए तो मैं इन 4 लोगों से मिल लूं, अब मुझे job चाहिए. If you would have built that continuous momentum of good relationship, that will help you. Then, if you become a people leader, and even in a CA firm, you'll hire a lot of people in your company or in your firm. Remember, as a leader, a boss is one who is directing people. But in today's world, nobody likes those kind of bosses. Become a leader where you influence people to achieve that change rather than directing them. And in the times of uncertainty, especially when COVID hua, how are you dealing with the empathy, compassion, listening to them, hearing to different people, different perspective, rather than saying if I am the boss and I am the leader, what I say is correct, you won't be successful. Bounce back and hear different perspectives from different people of different background to make a really good decision, or to improvise things which are happening in your space. And lastly, constantly upgrade yourself. Keep pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. क्योंकि अगर आप अपने comfort zone में बैठ गए in the changing world in which we are, whether technology or anything, then you'll suddenly realize that, oh, you are no longer relevant for the industry or for the market. So self-evaluate, not only in terms of technical things, but even on soft skills. Keep taking feedback from people that what could I do better? Maybe if I delivered a presentation, how could I have done it better? Maybe if I lost a client, how could I have managed that client in a better way? That self-evaluation is so important throughout your career to be successful, is what I would say. So this was what all I have spoken from last 40-45 minutes. And now I would be happy to answer any questions you guys have. And believe me, I am not only ambitious for myself, but for every one of you. And paying it forward to the CA Parivar is what I want to do. So please feel free to reach out to me for any guidance on my email ID, which I have mentioned. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can search me with the name of Nidhi Agarwal. I'm available there. So please. Okay. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. I hope you guys find this session relevant and inspirational.
Yes, ma'am, it was really very nice and inspirational and very knowledgeable. And hope there is no question at now at our end. Everyone is interacting directly with you. So hope if there is any question, that means that will go directly to you now.
Yeah, I have shared my email address.
Yes,
guys,
yes.
I am available on LinkedIn. Search me with the name of Nidhi Agarwal. And guys, any guidance you need from me, I'm available. I can take out time to mentor you, guide you whenever you need something, you want to bounce it off. I'm there. That's what I want.
It's great, ma'am. It's a very nice gesture from your side that you are showing that you are always available for mentoring young women CAs.
Yes.
It's very nice, madam. And from the core of our heart, on behalf of CMP of ICI and Himachal Pradesh and the Himachal Pradesh branch of NIRC of ICI, I extend my heartiest thanks towards you for sparing your valuable time, and hope our respective young women CAs have gained a lot through your deliberation, and all other members who have joined for today's VCM and gained a lot through your deliberation. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us.
And I enjoyed a lot. It was such an interacting thing that
yes,
people were writing their comments, they were writing their questions.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And from CMP of ICI, I also extend my heartiest thanks towards the Himachal Pradesh branch for sparing their valuable time and hosting this wonderful VCM. And in the absence of Shri Jitendra ji, Honorable Chairman of the Himachal Pradesh branch, in his absentia, and Vice Chairman Sir C. Navneet Sharma ji for sparing his valuable time. Thank you so much, Vice Chairman Sir, for hosting this wonderful event, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you so much.